All right, everybody. It is 9 o'clock p.m. Y'all know what time it is. It is the midnight run, and once again, it's it's that VINCE. And folks, the great one finally got his paycheck. And the great one is disappointed because the paycheck wasn't so great. Like the great one expected. Now, given the fact that I am no longer in customer relations at Verizon, I'm not going to be knocking down all that cash I was getting at Verizon. But I'm going to tell you folks right now, this check, I've not made that much since, I would say, early 2000s for two weeks worth of work. I shit you not, folks. The last time I got a check for 2 weeks worth of work like that check was like maybe 2002. I haven't made that type of wage in over 22 goddamn years, folks. But you know what? It's alright with me. You want to know why? I'm going to tell you guys why. Because I work for that money. I didn't shove a dildo up my ass. I didn't go on OnlyFans. I didn't let people humiliate me on a live stream or anything like that. It's honest work, folks. A lot of work for a little money, but hey, I earned the money. And I earned it in a dignified manner. And of course, naturally, because I'm switching career trades from telecommunications to medical, and I have very little medical experience other than the time I worked in the 90s. You see, when you're starting all over career-wise, you get paid on your experience. So, since my experience is a little bit lacking, my paycheck is going to be lacking, at least for now, folks. Hey, Ryan, what's up? Yeah, Sulik met up with Dale. Oh, that's freaking awesome. I heard that Jay Masters did an order 66 on Sulik. I'll have to check that video out as well. Hope you're doing well. Hey, Vince Mar, hey, Serratus. That's right, Raul. No, KCB. The reason why I didn't go to Spectrum or any other cell phone company is, I go work for them, maybe I might get another 3 or 4 years. Medical, on the other hand, has to go by HIPAA laws, so there's no way the job that I'm doing right now will be ever shipped overseas. Period. Because I'm dealing with medical records, folks. You see, I needed something to where my job wouldn't get shipped overseas again, like it's been doing. Well, don't forget I sell medical supplies, KCB. But the writing's on the wall and everything, I mean, I'm 47 years old. I don't really need to work that much longer anyway. Or excuse me, I'm 46. Folks, I turn 47 next month, so my bad. Oh, okay, Ryan. Okay. I didn't know, so I heard someone say that, but okay, that makes more sense. And don't forget, I still have my business there, so I'm not really hurting on money or anything like that. Like I said, I'm still trying to build up that retirement fund because, like I said before, you need at least $1 million cash in order to retire comfortably, Although I will never retire, I want to get to that point. And because I can pretty much bank the money itself and reinvest it, I think I should be in place. And don't worry, KCB, I'm only going to need to work like this for a year at low wage. Because then afterwards I can make a significant amount of wage, probably even more than what I would have gotten at Spectrum. Because you have to understand, KCB, I was at the top of my limit as far as pay is concerned at in telecommunications. While I'm starting a little bit lower, the pay rate is higher and the job is more secure because, with HIPAA laws, medical records can only be done by people in the U.S. with certifications. And part of that certification process means you got to be in America. You know what I mean? So it's an investment. Besides, I actually like what I'm doing. No more getting yelled at as much. KCB, I'm not really for sure. Tyson is 57 years old. I think Jake Paul's definitely doing it. People are definitely going to watch the boxing match, KCB, no doubt about it. But as far as it being competitive, it's just a big money grab. I'm sure Tyson's getting paid big money for this. He's going to pound me in a boxing match after knee surgery? Yeah, sure. Oh, yes, be sure to, if you wish to donate, you can to help out my pitiful paycheck. But don't forget to smash that like button. Be sure to thank Pugman. Be sure to thank everybody else that has donated to the support of this live stream and this channel. Speaking of Pugman, what's up, dog? How you doing there tonight? Well, KCB, I don't know. Like I said, Tyson's like 57 years old. Now, we did fight Roy Jones Jr. to a draw. Roy Jones Jr. is way better than Jake Paul. But, yeah. But in any event, yes, the author of Dragon Ball is passed away. He is gone. A great man that created a great series. Yes, indeed. Ice Train is gone now, too. Ole Anderson. A lot of people are just passing away, I'm telling you. It's kind of sad, folks. The world keeps spinning, everybody. Kaizen, McCuck wouldn't be on the undercard. He'll be under my cock if I ever got a hold of him. Bareback. No Vaseline. But McCuck ain't gonna fight nobody. It's just a big lie. In any event, I got hot chocolate with a little bit of whiskey. And, of course, naturally, my Perdomo Fresco, which I need very badly. Considering how I looked at my paycheck, folks. Man, that thing was pitiful, folk. Yeah, he's using the blanks threat now, KCB. I never had a Dreamcast, KCB, but I did play on the Dreamcast. That was an awesome system. Well, there's a lot of people that were doing Woo before even Ric Flair was born. Ah, yes, Greg Doucette. Banned from the IF... that's going to be a mystery there. I'd like to know what got him canceled back in June of 2023. And then the Trend Twins, one of them gets hospitalized. They're claiming all caffeine, but I think that's a load of BS. Oh, he talks shit about everybody, that guy. Him and Cuban. But in any event, folks, let's light up the cigar. Remember, folks, you got to toast the thing before you light it. So we're going to toast it. Now that it's toasted, remember you twist. And once again, folks, a perfectly lit cigar. Well, almost perfect. So, folks, as you know, the format is hour one, we get the smoke in, and then we check out videos at 10 o'clock p.m. I wish that silly heart wasn't in the way. What am I going to do about the microplastic problem? Not sure what you're referring to, Pugman. Or maybe I'm reading that wrong. Microplastic. Hey, let me know what you meant by that there, Pugman. Microplastic pollution in the environment. I mean, the environment's very important. For the most part there, Pugman, I don't use plastic bottles or anything. I use a metal bottle itself, so. And, of course, I do recycle. Everyone can do their part, but ultimately, Pugman, we need to come up with a solution to truly recycle any type of plastics or trash. There's already a process in place to where trash can be converted to methane. It's just not widely used, and I think more of those plants need to be set up. I've had whiskey for breakfast before. Well, KCB, I can't discuss stuff like that. I can discuss steroids up to a point as far as to... I just can't discuss really how much should one take, in other words, here. YouTube doesn't mind me saying steroids or anything like that. It just has a problem with giving out dosages. That's how Perrin Fitness got banned, KCB. Feel fat as a gay panda. Ah, that's pretty cool. I definitely got to see that video. I've seen Tofano use plastic before. You breathe it in, and if you put the fish under a microscope, I wasn't aware of that. I thought you were talking about I was thinking you were talking about miniature plastic in the ocean. I've never heard of that. I'll be honest with you, Pugman. I wouldn't be sure. I wouldn't be for sure as far as to what to do about that. I wouldn't have the slightest of idea of what I would do. I would, one thing I've always learned: if I don't know something, there, Pugman, I'm just gonna admit that I don't know something. I would leave that into the hands of an environmental expert as far as that's concerned. But, gee, it makes me want to not use margarine again. Although I use that plant-based butter. Microplastics that you breathe in and eat. Woo! That's kind of scary there, Pugman. If I ate a 200-gram Twinkie there, KCB, I would pass out from a sugar rush. That's a lot of a Twinkie. Why does the fitness industry attract so many weird people? Because the fitness industry is a very weird industry in itself. I mean, think about it. I mean, you got guys going on stage naked with nothing more than a pair of skimpy briefs. Of course it's going to invite the weirdos. Alright, Ryan, we'll check out the, we'll definitely check out the clips. I don't think Troy Archer drinks whiskey. Man, microplastics. Whew. That's really scary. No, I don't loiter. I mean, every once in a while, if there's no bathroom around, I'll pee behind a bush or something, you know. I mean, I'll take a whiz behind someone's bushes or so forth if there ain't a bathroom around. That's about it here, you know. But what dude hasn't done that, you know? Now, sometimes back in the day when I used to travel long distances and I didn't want to, and there wasn't a place to pull over, I would take a cup, you know, and whenever I hit a stoplight, I'd take a whiz in it. Now I would throw out that cup of piss, you know. And that way I could continue on my way, although you have to open up the door and slowly pour it behind it so it looks like I'm pouring out some Mountain Dew or something, you know. That's about it, you know. Just pee in a cup, I'm good. This cigar isn't 1/3 plastic. This is a Perdomo. The cow that made the dairy in that hit chocolate was at least half. All right now. If I ever traveled to India, would I take a dump on the street like locals? I'd probably look for a bathroom first, and if I couldn't find one, you know, I'd just use the bushes. I know you're laughing, KCB, but I mean, I'm on a trip. I don't feel like pulling over in a gas station because then you gotta go find a dirty bathroom anyway. And then you gotta wait until you pull back on the highway. Better just to keep a plastic cup around, you know, and stuff, and just whenever you need to go, you just take a piss. That allows you to keep driving. Just keeping it real and telling it to you like it is. Yeah, I know, Athens. You know, it's hard to if you're in a truck, Athens. Yeah, this is something my dad was a truck driver. My dad used to do the same thing. A lot of truck drivers do that, you know. You have to understand it's very hard to park those trucks, 18-wheelers. There's not that many truck stops out there as much as regular gas stations. They just can't pull into a regular gas station. And then they got to get back out on the road. So yeah, they're going to throw pee out of their truck window. That's why you should keep your windows rolled up if you're behind the truck. There you go, folks. The official song of the Midnight Run, the Lazy Porch Swing Blues. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it anyway. I mean, it's going on the street. It's going to evaporate or get washed away by rain anyway. So it's all good. I mean, animals pee everywhere. Now, taking a shit in the street, that's a little bit different, you know? I'm sure Jay has flung a Steel Reserve tall boy out. Although I wouldn't want to pee in those things. You know, the sharp edges where you open it up? You know, you might cut your dingling with that, you know? Let's see what else is going on in the world of the internet, the world of YouTube. Now, folks, I can tell you how my day went. Of course, I went to work, but I actually had to drive. As soon as I left work, I had to drive to Asheville and then drive back. So that's 3 hours. I had to go pick up some meds and stuff like that and see a couple people, you know. Mostly the meds. It's a lot cheaper to get meds in North Carolina than it is in South Carolina, folks. That's some good advice. Is Lamar streaming? Yes, indeed. Lamar is streaming. I'll just go say yo to him. Game looks pretty cool. Let's see who else is doing what around here. Big Lenny, I finished. Oh, Day in the Life of a. I gotta watch that later on. Maybe when the show ends. I wonder what happened to that lot lizard there, Kaizen. That thing that was sucking off Jay was just nasty. That's one thing you gotta respect Janoi about. You know, he actually works despite any disabilities, you know. I've seen people claim disability that didn't really deserve it. Then you got someone like Genova to where, you know, he can easily collect disability for the rest of his life. And he just doesn't. No, I don't game too much anymore. I play a couple of classic games. I tried to do a gaming stream, but it wasn't too popular. I guess I just don't have the equipment for it. I know my cousin Richard was watching me stream Wolfenstein 3D. Lenny really needs to get that leg cleaned up. It's pretty bad. But folks, get your questions in. The great one is on bat tonight. I'm at the batter's plate. And we are smoking. Take the wrapper off. Now, folks, if you guys want to know why I don't take this off before smoking it, you have to understand that when you light up a cigar, the cigar is going to naturally expand as you breathe into it. So that's why you want to keep this around, because sometimes if you decide to smoke without this on, that doesn't go for all cigars or so forth, just certain ones. Sometimes this thing can slightly come unravel. So make sure that you keep this on for a bit before you take it off on a cigar if it has one. If it doesn't have one, you don't have to worry about it. Someone went to Cupid's live and shit.
Hey Vince, can you react to this? Svari reviews Samsulek.
Mr. Krabs with the $5 donation. Sure, we can react to it.
Hey,
All right. Let's see here.
guys. guys, as requested by a lot of you, I'm going to review another video by Sam Selleck. It's this bodybuilder that YouTube keeps pushing. He has these very long and incredibly boring videos. Nobody would be watching him, but because YouTube keeps pushing him by suggesting his videos to everybody, he actually has a lot of views, which motivates him to create more videos, seeing as he earns a lot of money by creating these videos. He's very sick. He has pus coming out of everywhere. He's around 21 years old. Looks like he's in his 30s, if not even 40s. He's one of the sickest people on YouTube, and he has no
I need to speed this up there because I just hate listening to
idea
his
that he's
voice.
the perfect tool for the agenda. He promotes going to the gym and taking drugs. The gym alone is bad enough, seeing as it makes you incredibly unhealthy and reduces your lifespan significantly. But on top of that, he's a drug addict, and young, impressionable man who will see him will end up also using drugs. And YouTube actually promotes this. It's amazing. You have to be incredibly blind not to see why they promote him. The drugs will, of course, not only also reduce your lifespan and make you incredibly...
Let me remind you, folks, that this guy has no clue what he's talking about, even for now.
sick, but they will also make you infertile, which is perfect.
Can you believe it? I'm finally back. Well,
I can't believe that you're, again, sitting there with a bowl of what looks like cereal and milk. It's the same again.
Well, if someone does a paid review, Ryan, then I will generally review it. But going forward, I'm probably going to, even if there's a donation, I'm probably going to not still review that first one until 10 o'clock p.m.
back to look at the food intake. So I've already got 3 servings of...
Come on, please wear a tank top. I want to see all of the acne, all of the pus, the drugs, and the toxins coming out of your body. Come on. I already see your red tomato face, but I want to see more.
checks. I was actually kind of disappointed. I was scanning around the kitchen. I was looking for a box of Golden Grams that used to be floating around in here. Somebody must have finished them off. But, you know, whatever. Simple carb. I know some dudes would pretty much hype up the checks over any other kind of cereal just because it's rice-based rather than, like, you know, grain or wheat or whatever. But it's, to me, I'm looking at 120 grams of carbs. There's like 3 grams of fat. Basically, I mean, that's actually not true. I was about to say...
All of it is absolute garbage. It's absolute slave food. You have to be incredibly dumb to eat something like cereal.
Factor, right? Because you gotta remember.
I mean, there's not a way I can really review this. Mr. Krabs, you're going to have to submit another video. Here's the problem. I'm reviewing someone else here. So there's not really a way for me to review somebody else's review. So if you submit another video, then I'll be more than happy to check that out. But it doesn't make sense for me to review somebody else's review whatsoever. The only thing I can say is Godus, you know, he still doesn't know what he's talking about. I mean, we're talking about a guy that eats raw meat, but again, thanks for the donation, but send another video other than, you know, because I'm reviewing another person's review. Let's get the music back up and going. Hey, Blaha, what's up? No, it's not the real Blaha. Oh yeah, folks, I'm trying out my new battery pack. This is what's gonna go in my. This is. Whoops. This is what's gonna go in my little bag for work. This battery pack. That's the guy who showed his balls to Cuban. I mean, it's not a nice thing to do, but oh well. On the other hand, he's not a very nice guy. Nothing like a good Perdomo fresco on a Friday on the midnight run. Oh, yeah. Oh, I know. He's alright with me. Oh, it's part of the, as being a YouTube creator, they give you a full set of music that you can utilize for your videos. Sometimes I feel like a kid, blaha. Then other times I feel like a really old man. I'll just be honest with you. It's kind of weird. I'll be honest with you. Sometimes I don't even feel like I'm 46. But then when I start talking to people that are in their 20s, I'm like, geez, you know? But yeah, tomorrow I'm going to get up and I'm going to go to the gym early. And then don't forget, folks, 1 o'clock p.m. is South Pole Saturday. Playing the... we're going to play it there, that guy. We'll play that at 9 o'clock because Ryan already sent the video. So no worries, we're going to get that played. Godus, I mean, Servage, either one. None of his information is factually correct. He's probably got rabies or something. I don't know why this plate is here. Did I... what? Oh, that's right. I ate breakfast. But I will have to say that I like this battery charger. I got this off Amazon for $13. So it does quite well. It really does. So I'm testing it out now. The charge it, this is at 50%, so it appears that I can charge my phone twice with this. Anti-nutrient. Oh yeah. It's not just the... Like I said, I'm training a lot more, that guy. So, yeah, I'm losing significant amount of weight. My caloric intake's dropped too, so just expect more. Does 21-year-old semen taste? I wouldn't know because I don't taste semen. I don't know what slave coffee is. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But, you know, you're speaking about a person who eats soul food. Soul food is real slave food because that's what they used to feed slaves. They used to feed them chitlins and pig parts and pig intestines. The worst parts of the pig, worst parts of the animal. But coffee, I think, originated in Istanbul or Turkey. One of those Arab places. You know, one of these days I would like to have some traditional Turkish coffee. I think that would be awesome. Big Herc? Never heard of her. Maybe Athens, but here's the thing, and I'm just gonna say this in general, not knowing Uncle Mikey whatsoever, Athens, you mourn for a person, then you keep him in the back of your head as a memory. And then you go on with life. That's the way things happen, you know. Jay Masters doxed a kid on... Well, that's not nice of him. Gestapo with a $4.99 in do your best Kali Muscle impersonation. Sure. I'll do that. Ah! There you go. That's my best Kali Muscle impersonation. But again, thanks for the donation there.
Do your best Kali Muscle impersonation.
Hey, you guys got your best $4.99 money's worth there, so. Y'all smash that like button, folks. Collie Muscle's a mess, folks. He really is. But Greg Doucette, he's really a mess right now. It's amazing all of this stupid stuff is happening right after the Arnold. Why? I don't know. Well, the furthest we actually saw Eyewitness, or what we essentially, just like your name, Eyewitness, is him doing softcore. Him jerking off and shooting into a mirror. And then going around posing nude, so. The thing about it is, folks, you never know who went into the Mirage Hotel on room 110 next to the ice making machine. You never know who went into that room. And let me tell you, folks, whenever they go into that room, the guy whose name I'm not going to mention, but he is friends with a number of industry people, he takes the bodybuilder or the assuming person to make money. He has him do some poses in his clothes. Then he makes him put on some sparkly or golden briefs. And then that's when the real funny stuff is. But most of these are on private videos. And then they have to do it again because generally they're blackmailed. Some Jeffrey Epstein stuff going on at the Mirage Hotel, that's for sure. So the truth of the matter is, we don't know how far he went. We don't know how far Nick Trigili went, you know. We'll just never know that stuff. PJ Braun included, you know. Although PJ Braun's pretty cool with me now. I'm pretty content with PJ at this point. He did his time straight, so. That guy, I'm gonna have to erase that name. You stop that, man. I didn't see anything. That guy, I'm not gonna say the Guess some people are more wiser to the industry than I think. Oh well. I never hung around him. I mean, you're no comment, that guy. No comment. I keep forgetting this is 2024. But you know, we can't put names up here of that guy. But in any event, there's a bunch of private videos out there of just numerous people. Sort of like J. Edgar Hoover. I mean, just imagine how much recordings and audios and stuff that's actually hidden. It's kind of scary, actually. It really is. But yeah, a lot of Jeffrey Epstein shit in the bodybuilding industry. It's the way it is sometimes. But, I mean, folks, what can you do? Oh well. But folks, get your questions in. Cigars I got about a third of a cigar left. Once that's done, we're gonna start with videos. We're gonna check out the Sam Sulik and Dale meetup and stuff. Don't mention his Stop mentioning his name! Come on, man! Y'all are gonna get me in some trouble. Okay, I'll accept that, Ryan. Hey, Quick Pump, what's up? Just kicking back with the cigar. Long day work. You should have seen my paycheck, Quick Pump. It was embarrassing. In fact, here's what I'm gonna do. Nah, I'm not gonna do that. There we go. We're gonna change that to crappy paycheck donations. Yeah, it's just hard changing careers, folks. It really is. I don't really mind it at all. Oh, no. This is money I could put straight to the bank, Quick Pump. I mean, I pay my bills with my business and everything. I'm just changing careers and just putting money away for retirement. Yes, I got a 401k with Concentrics, Pugman, but let me show you something. This here, folks, is... Whoops. Don't want to show the name of the company I'm working for. But the stock has dropped by a great deal. Let's just put it that way. It's dropped in half, Pugman, by... It went from 100 to... It went from 100 to 65, literally. So I'm not going to put much in the 401k, Pugman. I'm going to roll some of it over. I'm going to keep my Verizon stock. I'm just going to put in what they'll match, and that's about it. Well, I didn't take up the job Quick Pump for money, specifically. I mean, it goes to my retirement. But I'm just moved from telecommunications to medical. So I got to take that L for at least a year and deal with the crappy paychecks. Now, after a year's time, I'm definitely going to take up something else. And I should be making about $28 to $31 an hour doing what I'm doing. But for now, I got to deal with this. You can't get the big money unless you have the experience, Quick Pump. No, this thing, Rob, was dropping long before I got there. But I've only mentioned the Pugman as far as to what I was making and where I work at. That's about it. But it's bad. But like I said before, it's honest money. I didn't have to shove a dildo up my ass in order to get it. Oh, I am. It's nice getting back to work too, Quick Pump. It really is. The thing about it is I enjoy my job, actually. A lot more than telecommunications. Because I'm helping out people, you know. I mean, I feel like I'm really helping people out with their concerns. People with cancer and stuff like that, you know, you help them out with their billing and stuff. So it's a lot more honorable, in my opinion, than trying to shove a cell phone up someone's ass or something. You have to understand, folks, when it comes to medical bills, they can be the most frustrating and most timing thing for most individuals. You know what I'm saying? Well, don't blame them entirely, Rob. You have to understand that I have substantial savings to where I can deal with the low pay. A lot of people starting out, if they were making the same thing, they would have to take a second job. I mean, you have to understand minimum wage is still the same, and while nobody is getting paid minimum wage. The minimum wage is like an anchor. The anchor point should be... The anchor point should be raised, but not by 15 or so. I think it should go to 10. Different anchor. But let's see if I could show this again. Hold on. Without seeing the name. Nah, that's not gonna work. Man, that is shit. It needs to be raised slightly, but not the 15. The anchor just needs to be pulled a little bit. Maybe by like $3. If you anchor it at $15, that's definitely gonna cause some real inflation. All right, folks, that's the end of the cigar. Remember, folks, twist, not jab. But you know, I can deal with the low money. I like what I'm doing. I have my weekends off. I could still do my live streams. I could still run my business. I wouldn't have been able to do that with Spectrum. That's good hot cocoa. Alright, folks. Time to get started with videos. Let's cut this music off. Let's get the show on the road. Yeah! Alright, what do we got first? Up to bat. Alright.
And in today's video, we're gonna do something different. Something very, very interesting. We're gonna do a pose for
Wesley Vickers is cut to the freaking bone. Look at him. Jeez.
pose analysis.
Let me show you guys this here. Let's get this up front. Just take a look at that physique, folks. Wesley is going to be a serious contender at the Mr. Olympia.
Comparison between Chris Bumstead and newly crowned Arnold Classic champion and potentially a challenger for the Mr. Olympia title, Wesley Wissers. Now, right off the bat, if I asked you who wins, Chris Bumstead or Wesley Wissers, everybody would say Chris Bumstead. It's not even close. I would think that myself, but it's not that black and white. It's not that simple. You're gonna see why in a moment. As all of you guys know already, Wesley Wissers just won the Arnold Classic by beating Ramondino. It was a one-point decision, very, very close battle. I would say it was kind of a apples and oranges type of scenario. I think it was so close in points because the judges didn't know what should they go for. Should they go for super classy golden era type of look or...
Yeah, Chris Bumstead is pretty complete. But Wesley Vickers has time to prep himself even more for the Mr. Olympia, so it'll be a close show.
For a more complete, more bodybuilder-esque type of physique. In the end, most of them went with classic lines and they chose Wesley Wissers. So the point I'm trying to make is they didn't know what they're looking for before this Arnold Classic. But if they decided that the new criteria from now on in classic physique is gonna be having as classic lines as possible. Now, Chris Bumstead versus Ramon Dino, I thought this was actually pretty close in terms of they both look pretty similar. They could both do very well in open bodybuilding as well if they added some size. Yeah, sure, you can say Chris Bumstead is a little bit more classic, but Ramon also has pretty good lines. Chris is just crazy complete and has a really beautiful structure, but I think it's pretty safe to say that Wesley Wissers has more of those classic lines. He really has that golden era type of look. He really looks like a classic bodybuilder from the 60s, 70s, or 80s, right? But he is also very tall, very massive. Now he brings conditioning as well with great fullness. So if he can repeat this conditioning, this peak, and maybe improve his physique a little bit, and if this decision swayed the judges in that way, that they decided to go for more classic lines in the future, then maybe, just maybe, Wesley could have a chance against Chris Bumstead. Alright, now let's get into it. Let's start with the first mandatory classic pose, front double bicep, and let's compare these two.
Yeah, Bumstead has a much better, complete physique, but like I said, he's still pretty shredded, Wesley Vissers.
So guys, so what do we see here?
I keep trying to say Vissy for some reason or another, but of course that's, anyway.
Here, in my opinion, right after a small waist and great V taper, a good classic physique should have massive arms. And Wesley has arms for days. His arms are pretty ridiculous, especially those biceps. Those peaks are crazy. They're also very long muscle bellies, but the peaks go super high. They are probably the closest biceps to Arnold Schwarzenegger's, so those biceps are really good. So Wesley definitely has Chris in the arms department. And now if you talk about V-taper, yes, Chris definitely has a smaller waistline, but look at Wesley's lats. I think they're popping out a little bit more. My eyes go straight to the waist, so I can definitely see that Chris's waist is smaller, but with those freaking lats and those arms, I mean, Wesley has like more of a pop upstairs. He is simply more impressive, he has more of that wow factor, and also he's taller and bigger, so he's gonna look more dominant on that stage next to Chris. Now, where Chris is beating Wesley is definitely in the lower body department. Chris's legs are really good and just structurally, they just really flow well with his upper body. So even though Wesley is super impressive, super wow in that upper body, I don't know if it's gonna be enough to beat Chris in this pose, but honestly, it's much closer than I would expect. Now let's move on to the second mandatory pose. It is side chest. And this one is tough, like the previous one. So Chris has that width in the upper body. He really knows how to open up, to show both pecs, to show shoulder width, and also...
Lamar, that fight was never going to happen. His elbow ain't messed up. He just used that to collect a little bit of money there, Lamar, which he did. He's just making excuses. He collected a little money off of the fight, and he pulled that out. I'm surprised he did it earlier than I thought, but he was never going to fight you, Lamar. You would have whooped his ass anyway.
Also, he has really good chest, like very separated, very wide. But then you look at Wesley, and his chest could be potentially bigger. His arms most certainly are, and overall, he's just a bigger man. He's taller, so he's packing more muscle. And his legs don't look that bad in the side poses. I would say Chris has more.
So here's the thing here, folks. If you look at Wesley and you look at the way Chris Bumstead is, his angle is a little bit up, so that way you could still see more of his arm. But with Wesley, his particular pose, it's covering up the majority of the arm, so it makes him appear a lot smaller than Chris Bumstead. He's a lot bigger than he looks. If he just swings it up a little bit and a little bit outwards, he's gonna compare a little bit better to Chris Bumstead.
More details, but Wesley has more of that wow factor. So honestly, I'm not sure who wins this one. It's a
exactly, Pugman. You're exactly right. If his elbow was so messed up, how is he able to bench?
tie, if you ask me. Now let's move on to the back double bicep. Check out the transition here. They're very good at this, both of them. They really know how to transition in a classic way to show some poses that are not mandatory in the transition. But I guess mandatory poses are worth more points. Now, as far as the back double bicep, let's say second most important pose if you want to see the entire physique.
Now take a look at this, folks. Even though it appears he has a nice crisp back, but look at those legs compared to Chris Bumstead. Bumstead's legs are much bigger than his. So, yeah. But Wesley's a pretty tall guy, actually. So, he'll need to bring up and develop his legs in order to match Bumstead.
But you can't really hide a lot of your flaws. In this one, it's pretty similar case to front double bicep. Like, Wesley has that crazy pop in the upper back and also the shoulders and the arms. But Chris just flows better in this one. His lower lats are just really prominent. He really knows how to hit this pose. And also like the glutes, the size in the glutes and the details and the hamstrings as well, and the way his legs are, the size of the legs and the way they flow with the upper body. I give this one to Chris. I just have to. But not by far. We'll see in person what it's going to look like. Again, if it is the same conditioning for Wesley, you know, with his size, with his height, and with his wow factor.
Well, I mean, Wesley just won the Arnold, which is almost a comparable show to the Mr. Olympia in terms of prize money and everything. So these are two major titles. So, yeah.
It's going to be interesting. Now, unfortunately for all the Wesley fans, we come to his worst pose. It's the abs and thighs pose. This pose he loses against pretty much everybody, at least in the top of the Mr. Olympia. So it's going to cost him a couple of points.
He just needs to pose a little bit better. He's leaning down way too far. He needs to move up a little bit in order to elongate those abs.
His waist, once again, is not the smallest. When he flexes it right here.
One thing you want to avoid is leaning very forward in the ab shot. You want to lean back. If you notice, Bumstead is leaning back a little bit more, so therefore his abs are going to look elongated. He is forward way too much, so he just needs to move back. So a lot of Wesley's issues is more to do with posing.
When he flexes the abs, the obliques pop out more, and his taper goes a little bit too wide in the hips. Maybe he can change that by learning how to suck the air in, because just look at how much his waist size changes once he hits the vacuum. So that is something that can be improved for the Mr. Olympia, but as for right now, from what we saw at the Arnold, Chris definitely destroys him in both of these variations of the abs and thighs, vacuum pose and abs flexed. And finally we get to the favorite classic pose, and both of these guys have like a couple of really classic poses. It's hard to judge this pose if it's not the same one, but basically they both look really classic in all these variations, even most muscular, very comparable. But there is one pose they both did in their routines, so we're gonna choose that one and analyze that one, compare it. So it's a front single bicep pose. Chris has his arm behind his head and Wesley has one hand.
See, and it seems as though he seems to keep he's just leaning forward too much. And it's throwing off his physique. It's making his arms look smaller. He needs to lean back a little bit.
On the hip. So it's not exactly the same one, but it's very similar. We can't really compare it, but what we can look at is who is more classic, Chris Bumstead or Wesley Wissers. And honestly, I would probably go and say that Wesley is arguably more classic. And in some poses like this one, he can make his waist look smaller. That is his flaw, but nobody has zero flaws. Even Chris has a flaw, his arms, obviously. He did improve them significantly, especially for the last Mr. Olympia, but they are definitely gonna look weak next to Wesley's arms. And Wesley, you know, his legs and his waist are not his strongest parts, but he can probably make his legs look a little bit rounder, maybe add some more details, glutes as well, and maybe he can learn how to suck air a little bit more and make his midsection look even smaller. I feel like Wesley came up big time this year for the Arnold. I don't think he ever looked this good, not even close. People are saying he was overlooked before, but I don't think so. I really don't think so. I feel like at the Mr. Olympia, in classic physique, popularity plays a big part. Because there is way too many competitors up there, and if you're not popular, the judges will probably not notice you. They did notice Wesley. They gave him the opportunity, and he was 8th and then 7th at the Mr. Olympia. So he was compared against the top guys, but now, after he came together with conditioning, he is definitely gonna get even more attention, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna be compared to Chris Bumstead directly. And maybe, I think it's very possible to get a two-man call-out, Wesley Wissers and Chris Bumstead. But I guess it depends on the other guys as well. Maybe Ramon can improve. I don't think he was at his best at this Arnold. And then also there is another thing, is Chris Bumstead even going to compete this year? Personally, I think he will. I don't think Chris is going to retire just...
Hey, Amar, how's it going?
...like that. I think he's going to retire on stage. So I think after he wins another title, or at least places second, I think...
Yes, indeed. This is the Midnight Run.
I think he's going to retire then. And as far as this year, I think he was a little bit worse last year than he was the year before. So maybe with all of his injuries, maybe he looks a little bit worse again, and Wesley improves a little bit more. So who knows? You know, it's not impossible that Wesley Wissers can win the Mr. Olympia. In this pose, in this favorite classic pose, I give this one to Wesley because of his crazy lines and big biceps and just insanely golden era looking classic physique. Overall, we all know how incredible Chris Bumstead is, how complete he is, and he is most likely gonna win again. He's definitely the heavy favorite, but, you know, things might change this year. Anything is possible, guys. Things are finally...
Hopefully Wesley, before he competes in the Mr. Olympia, he just needs to work on his posing. Stop leaning forward too much. A good posing coach should be able to assist him with that, and then he can... Because he's a lot bigger than he actually looks there. And because he's leaning forward, being as tall as he is, it's just going to mess him up on poses. But he is... I mean, he's definitely more shredded than Chris Bumstead. So if he learns how to pose a little bit better, he'll improve his chances. Let's see what we got here next.
Alright, now I'm going to show you how to do a prison-style pull-up. Prison-style pull-up.
We watched this... When did we watch this? We watched this Tuesday, actually, for his pull-ups. So we already watched this one. Let's see what we got next here.
A podcast of people, and I was like, that dude's full of shit. He didn't get beaten up.
Yep, we got 3 hours tonight. You're all liquored up. Excellent. It is Friday after all. If Wesley asked me, I would definitely help him out with his posing. That fight was never going to happen, Maroon.
He didn't sell drugs. He's not even that good. I don't think he can sell shit. I'm not following him.
Well, now I'm drinking water. I had a little hot chocolate with a little whiskey in it.
I'm not following him. I'm not following him. I'm like, I can't find anybody to follow. What about everybody else? When I watch your shit, I'm like, he's real. Not just, okay, the story, all that. That's cool, but your passion for fucking...
Thing is, I really built this shit so simply.
Yes.
It's psychotic. And all the top people come to me and they make me simplify it. Because last month I did 2.7 million at like 80% profit, 85% profit.
This is your coaching program.
This is just my coaching
Just the
business.
coaching.
And the thing is I have a low ticket with 18,000 members for $47. That is just recurring Bank.
Boom.
And then I have a $299 to $2,000, which is let's just make a better you that
Okay, Ryan, I'll go on my Instagram after this video and we'll check out the videos.
everyone can afford. That motherfucker has 4,000 members in it. Then I have my elite program where I teach you how to be a coach. Once in my mid-level, you're getting ready to be a coach. Once I make the best you, then I teach you go to teach others to do the same. So it's a ascension process. So there's in those 4,000 people, I'm feeding my own next step. They're getting ready. There's 5 people that'll be ready out of there today to spend $7,500 or $12,500 or $20,000 today. They're already ready. They get in knowing that this is like a path for college. Right. Wes is going to get me ripped. He's going to get me off all the vices. Then I'm going to learn the program. I'm going to use his apps. And then he's going to teach me how to do the same for other people. I take no money from anybody, just their fee. People are like, it's a pyramid scheme. I'm like, I don't take money from them after they. Someone told me it was a pyramid scheme the other day, just helping them.
Everybody says, by the way, they know what the fuck to say.
With personal development.
So cute.
Yeah, they're so fucking stupid.
Correct.
So I get them right, and then I teach them to get others right. This was my quote that I said we're supposed to live, that our purpose, to create the best version of you, give that person to the world. I wrote this quote on my rack at 4 a.m. during count in prison. To make the best you, give that person to the world. Now I'm creating the best people, and they're giving their best version to the world. This is what we're supposed to do as humans, and I've turned it into a business. The thing is, it's so fucking crazy, but even my highest ticket is not recurring. So those sales I have to make every day. And I was closing a deal as he pulled up in the car.
Yeah, again, he's just advertising his business, but definitely a very expensive watch that he has on. Very expensive. That's a 6-figure watch right there. Richard Milan watch. Hopefully I pronounced that right.
And I was going hard on the lady with the deal.
So here's the deal. I'll tell you who's going hard. So you're like, what do you mean guarantee? What fucking guarantee? You go on and on and on.
Alcohol's my limit, Rob. We don't do those drugs anymore. Not done those since the 90s.
It's an entrepreneur, and I'm sitting there going, and this is what hit me, is how much, see, you can't be that emotional and that fucking fired up unless you give a shit.
Because she's so dumb.
You can't, and it's so dumb.
Yeah.
But you actually, so that's the thing about people is, you actually have to understand there's hundreds of millions of people. Hey, 98% of people, if they had a polygraph hooked up to them and you said, do you want to make more money, have more time? If they said no, they'd be lying. It would go off. They'd be fucking lying. And the other ones that say yes, they'd be telling the truth, validated. Because everybody, the only ones that don't are the ones that go, I don't know if I can get it. So I'm afraid to fail. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can. Because, dude, honestly, when I got into, I was working a social worker making $70,000 a year.
Damn. I've never had a job.
Yeah, I had a job. Dude, look, my
never had a
journey's not
job.
your journey.
Yeah.
Like, I had, me, longest, if I was in for 3, 4, 5, 7.
I hate it when these influencers say they've never had a job. Wes Watson, you have a job. You're a life coach, You got to be really careful, folks, of these people that say that they don't have a real job. That's what a lot of MLM people say. I'm in Amway. I don't work for a living. I've been retired. No, that's not true. I mean, it's a bunch of BS. Don't believe it. Wes Watson has a job. Everyone has a job, practically.
7 days or longer for doing stupid shit, but I was like living my life. I got a fucking job, went to college, I was fucked up, then I got
Now, I will say this, that, obviously Wes Watson enjoys his job, but let this be clear, folks, it's still a job.
Dude, I by accident, like I was in my 20s selling real estate. Then I was like, wait a minute. My buddy flipped a house, and I was like, he's dumb as shit. If he made $18,000 for 4 months, I'm not a million. $18,000. I was like, that's the greatest thing in the world. Then I was like, why do I got to pay a real estate agent? I'm going to get my real estate license. Why are we paying them? He's like, I don't know. I think I'm going to get my license. Then I'm like, why are we paying a GC? Why don't I just...
Well, the reason why real estate pays so much is because there's also a huge risk with it, When you're trying to flip homes, you can either make thousands of dollars or you can easily lose thousands of dollars or even more.
The general contractor. Then I'm like, I started.
So the more risk, more reward, So use that as a point of rule.
And I started making money by accident. Then I was like, shit, I like this. Then I wanted to turn back, right? I didn't have somebody, because guess what? All the shit I looked at, Wes, when people were going to coach me, bullshit. It was bullshit. They hadn't accomplished anything.
Yeah.
And that's the struggle right now, is trying to find the right
The
person.
craziest thing is, I'm probably one of the only people who actually documented the whole thing. So from when I got out of prison, I said I'm out, and I filmed my first day at the gym. And I
How
said,
many people
watch
watching
this.
you then?
I had 10,000 followers when I got out of prison. Yeah.
So you, in prison, you started day
Yeah,
one, got followers.
I
we
like
had
10,000. Well, I had 10,000 even in prison.
That's what I'm saying. You accumulate that over time.
Yeah, and then when I got out, I'm like, watch this. I'm going to build some shit. And that's what's crazy about new people who follow me. They're like, Cap. They're like, we watched him, you fucking idiot. And they're like, oh, they'll act like the testimonial's fake. They're like, I remember when he was on the program as a client. Now he has a mansion. Like, it's not possible, you know? But this is the thing is, you don't, explanations. Friends don't need them. Enemies won't believe them. You just don't need to explain to people who don't have the mindset to even understand what you're doing. The people who do, it's very easy. So sometimes people come in and they're like, I want to coach for real estate. And I'm like, well, we're going to sell life coaching too, not just real estate. You have to help them with life or they're going to suck at selling homes.
100%.
And they can't grasp that. They're like, but I'm real estate. I'm like, bro, do you think the fucking top level dude isn't going to be able to discern what he needs from you? We're going to put your whole life on the fucking page. And the top level dude's going to say, hey, Sean, I just need this from you. Like, I'm good at this. I really need this. I had one of the top coaches on the planet sign up for my program. He said, I have 18 minutes. He bought a $12,500 program from me. He said, I have 18 minutes. I broke down everything we needed in 15. He's made an 8-figure business out of it in 1 year. And the thing is, he's one of the top level dudes. He just spoke with Tony Robbins. If you watch his content, he posts exactly like I do. When you see top people do exactly my structure, you know they're one of my clients. And some people, they just don't necessarily want to give me a testimonial. I don't beg. So whatever the fuck. So the whole point is like, this is what I did. Like, I just got myself right, and I got myself in the best shape. I got out. I wasn't trying to build a fucking business. I pulled my phone out. I was so proud of myself that I was no longer using drugs, that I was in shape, that I wasn't womanizing. I had these core beliefs. I was going to be good to one woman. I was going to be the best man I could ever be, the best man I could ever imagine I was going to create. And I did that. So I just filmed it and showed everyone what I do. They started saying, teach me, teach me, teach me, teach me, teach me. I didn't have anything but those habits at the time. And I had a bigger brand than most people. Because it just shined. Like, this guy loves what he's doing. And that is enough. You guys who think you need money and all that, it's enough to be in a place where people can read on you that you truly love your life.
I mean, generally speaking, he is at least giving good advice, but don't forget, folks, he may be disciplined and everything like that, but you got to be, what really makes me cringe is what Wes Watson's doing is the same that a lot of these MLM Amway people actually do. The ones that get on the stage and get people in those auditoriums, they say that they don't work for a living. And I do respect Wes for working and everything, but he shouldn't come to the point to where, he's never had a job before, It is a job being a life coach and training people. The better way to actually say that is, hey, I have a job that I enjoy doing, so it's not really a job to me. That would sound more appropriate than saying I've never worked before. Overall, I think it's a generally good interview that he's made, so I got no real problems with it, other than that. All right, Ryan, I'm going to go ahead and check out your video that you sent me. Let me see what we got here.
There's a dad and his son. I've seen this guy before. You would not believe it. Any fellow misfits out there. There's the infamous Dale Chuck E. Cheese Chance rolled up.
There you go, Lee. How about that?
I was dying to see him and Brad.
You really like to get farted in your face?
And Lenny. Everybody. But it was just him. But no, that's fucking surreal. Anybody who knows about that, you know that was a real fucking honor. We were doing a calf check and everything. Ripping into money. Like, let's see money with these calves.
What do you think about that, Dale?
That's really cool, though. When I was at the hostile booth, I sort of recognized a face. It was a dad and his son. I've seen this guy before. You would not believe it. any fellow misfits out there. Here's the infamous Dale Chuck E. Cheese chance rolled up.
There you go, Lee. How about that?
Let's see the other one. Damn, Dale's just about as big as Sam is here. It's looking like he's in pretty good shape, actually. It's good to hear that Sam is a big fan of the Misfits. That's pretty cool, Ryan. Thanks for sending that. Hopefully we get more mints out of that, you know, and see some other future videos. Wonder why this is so short. Let's see what we got here.
Look, I think this is the kind of decision that's going to decide whether you're going to be a big lifter or a fucking small lifter.
Well, if you decided to follow Jim Jones Quick Pump, you wouldn't be following him for long. And it wasn't Kool-Aid, folks. That's a big misconception. It wasn't Kool-Aid. It was Flavor Aid.
And maybe not even big or small. That's more like, you know...
That's why you don't see Flavor Aid too often, because it's associated with Jim Jones.
Genetics, diet, supplementation of multiple degrees. But I'll say whether you're going to make progress or not. That's what we should really be focused on. So, what else is there to discuss? Oh my God. So, this isn't really a mainstream kind of guy, but when I was at the Hostile booth, I sort of recognized a face. It was a dad and his son. You know, I'm like, where have I seen this guy before? You would not believe it. Any fellow misfits out there. There's the infamous Dale Chuck E. Cheese chance. He rolled up. I was dying to see him and Brad and Lenny and everybody, but it was just him. But no, that's fucking surreal. So, anybody who knows about that, you know that that was a real fucking honor. Oh, that's fucking killer. We were doing a calf check and everything. Ripping into Lenny. Like, let's see Lenny with these calves. That's really cool, though. But, yeah, it was crazy. I mean, it's, like, I feel like in the last, like, 3 videos, I've been saying the exact same shit. I'm like, oh, it's so crazy seeing it.
Yeah, it's similar to, that's the same as the other video that we just watched. But yeah, it's really cool that he finally got to meet one of the Misfits here, so... I'm sure Sam's going to definitely look up Big Lenny one day and hang out with him. I really believe that. Who knows, I might be around too.
You don't always...
Yeah, one of my favorite people, old Andy Poe. Let's check him out here.
have to have an
No, Dale wasn't that heavy.
opinion about a person, thing, or an event. Things just are. Your limited perception is going to paint whether something is good or bad for you, but you have no idea of the macro level of how it's going to impact you. I'm working on a 2-day project yesterday and today. It's about the Chinese farmer, and it's a story about fortune and misfortune and how you respond to something. The farmer's response is always maybe. So I'll use some examples from my real life. And my family, my mother and father, they escaped Cambodia during the 70s from the genocide of the Khmer Rouge. So it's an event that took place, and some people may say that's very unfortunate. Lost millions.
Oh my gosh, the Khmer Rouge? I wasn't aware about this here. It was a very horrible event. Very horrible. He's right, millions
of lives over there?
lost.
Maybe. But through that event, my parents ended up in California, and my mom worked for my dad. Without that happening, they wouldn't have met. So some people say, wow, that's a fortunate thing that your parents were able to escape and meet and work together. Maybe. But they divorced their spouses, moved to New York, and that's where they had me. So some people may look at my situation and say, wow, like that's pretty fortunate. Maybe. But where we lived, my father was involved in a homicide robbery. He was robbed after my 16th birthday on the way home from a bank, and I found him left for dead. That's a very unfortunate event. Maybe. But through that event, I wouldn't have discovered that my father had 3 other kids from his previous marriage, and one of them was my brother who taught me how to tattoo. You say, Matt, wow, that's a very fortunate event. You say, maybe. So through all the ups and downs that are going to happen to you in life, like your limited perception, you being so deep in it, you may paint a picture that something is fortunate or unfortunate. Maybe. You have no idea how it's going to impact you. And there are some real life consequences and things that are going to happen that are going to put you through some hard or challenging times or through some blessed times. But the only thing that's important about a person, event, or thing is how you respond to it. So always keep your emotions, your thoughts, and your feelings in check. Events just are, people just are. How you respond to it is what matters.
That's definitely a good video.
My whole life, the odds have been stacked against.
I would love to watch a DDP yoga video. Diamond Dallas Page has been doing some great things. Y'all should check out his DDP yoga. He recently got Butterbean back in shape, and he was in bad shape, you know. But in any event, it's still copyrighted. I wish I could play it, but as far as Poe is concerned, very smart individual. I'm definitely glad I discovered him from Wes Watson. That's for sure. Well, Lamar, go ahead and grab something to eat. I'm going to actually grab a little bit of extra water because I'm out, so I'll be right back, folks. All right, folks, I'm back. I don't drink too much water, Wally. I only drink water when my body tells me to drink water. But your body is mostly made of water, so it's actually important to get water in. Non-negotiable. Oh, that's odd. Oh, well. Yeah, that was a piss break. I just got this battery charger and somehow it's not charging. Wonder why. I hope this thing didn't just break. If it did, I'm going to be really pissed. Nope, it's working. All right, next video. I think there's just an in and out port of some type. I am not going to be able to watch this one. That is BBC. Sorry, Kaizen. Definitely copyrighted.
Oh.
Let's see what we got here as far as to Frank Tofano, though.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for a blood work / health update. And you guys know I've been very transparent about the health issues I've had following the carnivore diet, what happened after.
You know, folks, it's amazing. All of the fancy foods that he eats, all of the cosmetic surgery he's had, and then we have this.
Afterwards. So that has kind of helped me be really, really honest and somewhat humble in researching and discovering. And
almost forgot Wally. Again, Kali Muscle's an idiot. Generally speaking, most foods have plenty of sodium in it there for nutrients. Plus, I take multivitamins, so the only thing water flushes out is actually toxins. It also helps you, drinking a lot of water also helps you lose weight as well.
Always being open-minded and being really good with, pattern recognition and process of elimination in regards to really figuring out and understanding what needs to be done pertaining to health. Basically, 5 months ago, we discovered that I probably have some type of copper toxicity issue, so that has been the recent focus, and that's what we're gonna talk about in this video. I did not comb my hair this morning. I'm still half asleep, so video has to get done though. So we got a little bit of blood work we're going to look at starting in September of 2023. Our vitamin D was 57 on a scale of 30 to 100, which is pretty good, and this will be important later to make an interesting comparison. Calcium, magnesium, not a regular.
That is not actually really good. He's over supplementing. It should be a little bit in the borderline or so forth. It should be more or less even. When you see it that high, that's definitely over supplementation with whatever he's taking.
Liver enzymes were not out of range. Testosterone was around 400, which is where I'm typically at because, with liver damage, your hormone production is gone, cooked. Ferritin is low at 25 because I donate blood to.
Why is his testosterone at his age 423, and how does he have this type of damage? He probably needs to elaborate on it.
Keep it low. And the main issue we discovered was that my ceruloplasmin was out of range at 38, and my copper was 120, which is slightly out of range. Ceruloplasmin is the main copper carrying protein in the body, and it actually requires magnesium to bind to copper. That's why I was getting magnesium and calcium tests done. And then we also had micronutrient analysis done showing I was zinc deficient. So that kind of explained why, despite me thinking I had my diet correct and everything, I was still having extreme difficulty sleeping. I was still getting insomnia, and then copper toxicity, copper in the bloodstream would definitely cause that. So I started taking a lot of zinc. I felt a bit better, but I still wasn't sleeping. And then in December of 2023, about a few months after that first blood work.
KCB, that's a load of bullshit. You can't damage your liver with a carnivore diet. There's a lot more behind that. But no, a carnivore diet can't. If done right, a carnivore diet cannot damage your liver whatsoever.
I tested my copper again, and it went up to 139. Zinc went up a few points, and that's telling me that the zinc I was taking was putting more copper into the bloodstream.
Yeah, that is kind of odd. He eats a lot of red meat, and his zinc is pretty low.
And it can be common in cases of any sort of toxicity where when you start fixing the problem, it actually causes higher blood levels initially and gets worse. And I didn't discover and research ceruloplasmin that it needs magnesium to bind to copper in order to take the copper out of the body until late December. And honestly, like, the only reason I don't regret getting that eye surgery is because, like, a really specific set of circumstances happened when I was in California that caused me to experiment with a high dose of magnesium, and that's ultimately how I figured out to feel better. If I didn't go out there, I don't think I would have ever, I mean, it's hard to say if I would have ever figured that out, but thankfully I did. So ceruloplasmin brings copper to the liver, where it is excreted in the bile to be, pushed out the digestive system. And again, the ceruloplasmin, the protein enzyme, cannot pick up copper unless you have enough magnesium. So you can take all the zinc you want, and you cannot detox copper without magnesium. And it can really make things worse if you just increase your circulating copper from how you feel perspective. Yeah, so the first blood work we mentioned was September 2023. That slight deviation where the copper went up was in December of 2023, 3 months later, and now this blood work is just about a week ago, middle of February. So 5-6 months since we initially discovered the issue. Vitamin D dropped down to 17.
We'll check it out, that guy.
On a scale of 30 to 100. Copper went down slightly to 115. So it went from like 120 to 139 to 115. And zinc was at 65, so around the same. Ferritin dropped down to 9 because I donated blood recently. And my understanding of this is that I was severely magnesium deficient, which was not allowing my body to utilize vitamin D stores. So when I did take the magnesium, it caused a sudden drop as my body was actually activating the vitamin D and using it. Although I want to double.
What's happening is it's just over supplementation. That's he keeps trying to take a supplement in order to whenever he needs to balance out his supplements. That's it. I've never had these types of problems before, and all I take is a simple multivitamin. That's it, folks. Just a multivitamin. He's over supplementing. That's why he's having all these problems.
Double check my vitamin D levels to confirm this was the case, because the blood circulation, regardless of whether you're getting one or the other vitamin D test, is not necessarily an indicator of liver stores. However, if you were like toxic in vitamin D from taking supplements, hypothetically, the blood levels usually don't go below 75%. So from everything I've seen and my understanding of blood work, if you're toxic in something, the levels will never be below like 75%. But we're going to double check the vitamin D anyway. And a reason I'm so sure of that is because when I was tanning last summer, I would get extreme excruciating headaches towards the end of the summer, and magnesium actually made those go away instantly. But then I'd get insomnia because what was happening was, okay, you replenish the magnesium stores, but now you have a lot of circulating copper and ceruloplasmin, so you're still not going to sleep. Same thing with the blood copper. The blood copper is not an indicator of liver stores. However, what we just said, it's high because there is a probable toxicity, but we don't know how much is in the liver. And what we did kind of confirms this, because when we take a lot of zinc, we mobilize more copper in the body and the serum goes up. And same thing, if we took a lot of zinc plus magnesium, the copper and ceruloplasmin would probably go up substantially. But the reason we don't want to do that in an experiment is because I will just feel terrible and not sleep. But it could probably be done. So instead of taking my typical supplement dosage, I could just go crazy for a day or two just to artificially inflate the blood levels to show you guys, hey, this is actually happening, this is working. So these are just indicators that my body is removing the copper. And once the copper levels are mostly removed from the liver, we should see it go down. So I could be detoxing for months and months and months, and
damn, those eyes are actually getting a little bit worse. Look at those eyes. They're looking pretty bad. It's like it's going further and further cross-eyed. Jeez. Anyway.
At the point where the copper toxicity really starts getting better, where most of the liver is depleted of copper, then we'll see the levels start to lower. So just because the blood levels don't necessarily change much doesn't mean that we're not doing the right thing. And the reason the zinc hasn't gone up is partially because I donated blood. Because when you donate blood, both the zinc and copper are removed. So hypothetically, I donated blood 2 or 3 times. If the zinc levels are the same, that's excellent. That means, if anything, my zinc would have gone up if I didn't donate blood. But it's more important to keep the zinc low and remove copper with blood work than it is to just leave everything in, I think. Although I haven't felt much better when I donate blood, but hard to say. And some of you guys suggested zinc picolinate instead of amino acid chelations, and more than one of you, so I tried this. I took it for a month, only zinc picolinate. I mean, I didn't notice or feel a difference. And then, because of that, I read about a dozen different studies on zinc chelations, and that plus my anecdotal experimenting, I'm not convinced the chelation of zinc is that relevant. You guys that are focused on that, it's very insignificant in the picture of this copper toxicity thing. On top of the anecdotal experiments not working, all of those studies basically said that amino acid chelations of zinc, such as zinc glycinate, are more bioavailable and more utilized to the body, and that makes sense, especially considering the stuff we'll talk about, ceruloplasmin, in a little bit. And I'll go more in depth on this in general in future videos, but to simplify it, zinc helps prevent excess copper absorption. It's antagonistic to copper metabolically, and overall helps reduce...
Over-supplementation, folks. Let's put a little speed on this here, because he's boring the living shit out of me.
Use free copper in the bloodstream. Magnesium is required to bind the copper to ceruloplasmin, allowing you to detox it. And you need large amounts of both magnesium and zinc orally at the same time to fix this. If you just take zinc on its own...
No, and that's not what needs to be fixed. He needs to just get off all the supplements for maybe about a couple of days, and then just do it in moderation. One multivitamin, and that's it,
Didn't help. Molybdenum on its own, which we'll talk about now, didn't help. Magnesium on its own didn't help. You need the combination of all 3 of these. So molybdenum is also antagonistic to copper, and it even binds to copper in the intestine and brings copper to the kidneys to be excreted in the urine. So through my trial and error, I've noticed that I feel best when taking all 3 of these with every meal. A moderate amount of zinc, magnesium, and molybdenum with every single meal for the most part. Again, each of these individually might not help you much, but altogether, it's very effective. And sometimes I would take zinc and molybdenum. Most of the time I'd add magnesium in there. The only time I would stop the magnesium is if I overdid it a little bit and had some sleeping issues. So you got to figure out the dosage where you feel good. Because you don't want the ceruloplasmin and the copper in the bloodstream to go too high, because although you might detox faster, you're not going to feel so good, you're not going to sleep, you're going to have insomnia. And the purpose of the magnesium is to just have enough ceruloplasmin production in the liver, so it doesn't have to be taken with every single meal, as your body can store the magnesium.
I mean, why is he doing so many blood work? This isn't Philadelphia or anything like that. I mean, when I hear someone his age taking blood work, now me personally... I mean, I get that once a year. I am due now for a colonoscopy because I am at the age of 46. So I do have to do a colonoscopy probably at I'll probably try to do Cologuard instead. I have to get a prostate exam once a year. But that's just simply due to my age. But when I hear someone his age doing blood work, I'm like, for what reason, Why does he have all this lab work and paperwork? This is not typical of someone of his age. I definitely wasn't doing this type of crap whenever I was his age.
The reason you need zinc and molybdenum with every single meal is because it's preventing the copper in the food from being absorbed. So every single meal is going to have copper in it. Copper is in so many foods. And if you take zinc and molybdenum with the meal, that's going to prevent the copper absorption. So zinc...
I'll probably do it in April, KCB, but, you know, I'm going to be honest with you. If I had any issues with the colon, I would start getting huge stomach aches and stuff like that, lesions and stuff like that, you know. So I'm not too worried about it. I mean, the key sign of colon cancer is really bad stomach aches here, you know, and I've not had any of that.
Zinc and molybdenum.
I don't think he has HIV. I think a lot of his medical issues per se is just in his head, if you know what I mean.
Every single meal have a purpose, but magnesium, yes, your body needs magnesium in the liver to produce the ceruloplasmin to transport the copper. However, in regards from an every individual meal purpose, it's not necessarily going to chelate anything or help them. At least my understanding, but it's better anyway to have a consistently low dose of magnesium. The reason I'm bringing this up is that, hey, you don't necessarily have to take magnesium every meal is because you might overdo it. Same with the other minerals. If you overdo zinc, you'll feel kind of crappy. If you overdo molybdenum, you'll feel kind of crappy. But the reason that even if you overdo it...
He says the words overdoing it, but yet he overdoes it. It's one thing to say it, and then another thing to do it.
You would still want to take it with the meals is because in the physical intestine, in the actual digestive tract, when you're eating the meals, it serves a function to prevent the copper from being reabsorbed. And this is also the reason why I came up with the magnesium and zinc complexes on organ supplements. I wanted the most effective forms for this issue of copper toxicity, which I believe is very common. So those forms of magnesium, I think it's magnesium glycinate, magnesium taurate, and magnesium L-threonate. Those are the most bioavailable. And same with the zinc. The zinc is all amino acid forms. Off the top of my head, I think for the zinc we did taurate, glycinate, and methionine. And those are also really relevant because ceruloplasmin, being an enzyme, is a protein made up of a lot of amino acids. So you would argue there that, you know, if you need high ceruloplasmin production in the body, if anything, having these minerals in amino acid form is more relevant to that. And I don't think let me just say it again because I should have explained it a little easier at the beginning of the video, a little simpler. Ceruloplasmin carries copper to the liver, where it will be excreted in the bile to be detoxed. Ceruloplasmin is also created in the liver and requires magnesium, zinc, and proteins to be created. So the real main thing here we're trying to do is to optimize ceruloplasmin production, and that's how we're going to basically detox copper as quickly as possible. So we're doing a few things overall. Optimizing ceruloplasmin production, preventing absorption of copper from foods by taking certain minerals, and also we're using these minerals to replenish depleted nutrient stores. Especially zinc, especially magnesium. Molybdenum, I doubt I have a molybdenum deficiency. I don't think I do, but it serves a purpose every meal in helping detox copper. And people have issues with molybdenum toxicity too. However, because the dose we have on organ supplements is so low, I haven't noticed any issues with taking molybdenum every meal. My dosage is on that. 15 to 30 milligrams of zinc. Sometimes I'll do 30 in the morning, but it's usually 15.
Such a waste. This is just over supplementation. You don't need to take that much.
Most of the day. 50 to 100 milligrams of magnesium. Again, I'll do the higher dose, 100 milligrams of magnesium in the morning, and then 50 milligrams the other meals in the day. And then I take one molybdenum capsule every meal, which is 100 micrograms. So if I go to 45 zinc, I notice I don't feel good per meal. If I go like to 150, 200 magnesium, I don't feel bad, I just don't sleep that well that night. I actually feel better, I think, sometimes. And molybdenum, I haven't messed around too much with going with higher doses, but before I started taking magnesium every single meal, or I guess just in general, I noticed that taking the molybdenum is important. Because there was a period of time where I was just taking zinc with meals, and then when I added just the molybdenum in, I was feeling and sleeping better. But hey, hopefully a few more months. I mean, we don't really have many more questions to answer. We kind of have an idea of the protocol and we know what we're doing. I guess as I feel better, as my body recovers, now that I'm able to sleep better for the most part.
Oh, that's good for you. All this work for just nothing. Yeah, he eats, active charcoal and mastic gum. That's going to be a problem in itself there. I think what's happening is that he's imagining a lot of these symptoms and is trying to compensate for it. copper toxicity is very rare, folks. It's very rare.
The next 6 months is going to be a pretty big deal. We're going to see kind of how bad the copper toxicity is, because if the blood levels are the same in 3 months, even 6 months, we're like, oh my god, how long is this going to take to fix? The vitamin D is definitely interesting. You know, I could have been tanning all these years, and who knows what my body was really doing with the vitamin D stores. I could have just been burning them up as fast as possible if I didn't, because I definitely didn't have enough magnesium throughout this whole period of time. And I knew that. I knew I couldn't. I knew I was really magnesium deficient for many years, but I couldn't take magnesium because I would get insomnia, and the reason for that was because I had copper toxicity and I was also zinc deficient. So now that we've pieced a few things together, mainly thanks to a lot of you guys mentioning stuff in the comments, as well as me experimenting a lot, we've kind of put the pieces together. We're just finishing the puzzle right now. And yeah, no, I mean, you guys made suggestions here and there, but it really took me, reading a lot of studies and experimenting on my own to figure out what I had to do. Because I'm really sensitive to things. So if something works for someone, they might not necessarily be a good indicator of that, because if they've never had sleeping issues, if they've never had extreme circumstances, then anything's going to work. If you don't feel too crappy, if your health isn't too ruined, like you're not at this, like, I don't want to say life or death, but you're not in this like extreme on and off night and day thing where as soon as you do something wrong, it's super obvious in how you feel that it was wrong. But anyway, thank you guys for joining me. We have all the supplements.
Yeah. We don't want to see your crappy supplements. He spent 18 months talking about, a kid that age, all these other problems and everything like that. It's just over supplementation. Literally. It's like he's like a kid in a candy store, He has all these supplements and he has to use them all to make himself feel important or just to sell them, He's simply over supplementating.
Oh.
It's just ridiculous, I swear I don't know what's wrong with that boy. I really don't. Let's see where we're at.
All right,
Why is that doing that?
You Gotta Be a Freak is murdering this beat.
We read the book. We used to sit around and read their books. We read the book.
You Gotta Be a Freak beats.
We read the books.
Science says you're full of shit.
We used to sit around and read their books.
I don't really think it's hard. It's hard.
We read the books.
All of you guys are full of shit.
We used to sit around and read their books.
All of you guys are fucking hard.
We read the books.
I used to sell Charco tablets, KCB, but that was a long time ago. But that was for people that had, stomach aches and stuff, That's the only time I sold Charco tablets. It was in the event someone was having a stomach ache. But you definitely don't want to supplement with it.
Science says you're full of shit.
We used to sit around and read their books.
I don't really think it's hard. It's hard.
We read the books.
All of you guys are full of shit.
Repressed homosexuality? Nah. If someone's going to suck one, they're going to suck one or so, People are a creature of habits.
Sit around and read their books.
All of you guys are fucking hard.
We read the books.
NFL players,
hard.
Professional rugby players, international soccer players, hard. Professional rugby players. Fuck that. Bunch of fucking faggots. Beta pussies. Fuck that. I don't want to be a cocksucker faggot. Beta bitches. Who gives a fuck? Bunch of fucking faggots. Beta bitches. Fuck. Cocksucker faggot. Beta bitches. Because I'm not shy and I'm not a pussy. There ain't no pussy here. You got me fucked up with somebody else. Got me fucked up with somebody else. Science says you're full of shit.
You used to sit around and read their books.
I don't really think it's hard. It's hard.
You read the books.
All of you guys are full of shit.
You used to sit around and read their books.
All of you guys are fucking hard.
You read the books.
Science says you're full of shit.
You used to sit around and read their books.
I don't really think it's hard. It's hard.
You read the books.
All of you guys are full of shit.
You used to sit around and read their books.
All of you guys are fucking hard.
You read the books.
You gotta be a freak is killing it right now.
Interesting. I guess indeed you gotta be a freak. Alright, let's see what we got next.
All right, ladies.
It's the same thing. Let's try this.
Drug deals, weapons. Stole from me.
He threatened my family.
Violence. I stopped touching him. Stopped sleeping with him.
His future?
Busted. In jail.
Dead.
I want a future, not a loser.
Gang guys, what have they done for you lately?
The things he did, I wouldn't let that happen again.
Call Crime Stoppers.
What the fuck was that? I don't know what that was.
How to not give a fuck about a bitch. Guys, if you under the age of 30, chances are you probably still out here looking for love. And ain't nothing wrong with that. Quite frankly, I encourage it. Because the only way you truly gonna find out what female nature is about is by investing. You probably need to get married or maybe have a kid. And then have her take all that shit away with no remorse. Only then will you become invulnerable to bitches. Right now, I'm at a power level over 9,000. Y'all, I had this bitch over here.
9,000. Interesting. Okay, Goku.
She had 3 kids. 2 of them died. She was telling me the story about the tragic event that happened to them. Truth be told, I ain't give a fuck about them kids. I ain't kill them. Now, did I feel bad that she trusted me enough to tell me that? No. But did I feel bad about what actually happened to the kids? Fuck no. Look, I came to this bitch for some ass. I'm not a fucking therapist. Guys, you are not allowed to express your emotions in front of bitches, but they can do it. Don't mean we have to give a fuck. Game is game.
Folks, that's some very bad dating advice, but quite minty.
Patrick, thanks so much for looking after Courtney.
We can't watch that American Psych. Sometimes it'll play things that I've already been played before, which is, of course, one of my favorite movies, of course, is American Psycho. If you guys have not watched that, you should watch it. It's pretty awesome. KCB, that video of Blaha and Moon Cookie is probably still around on YouTube. Remember, videos don't disappear, they just get hidden somewhere. It's crazy how dark the timeline has gotten. Things change there, Serratus. You know. But, yeah. I don't know why I would give you a Chuck Basher vibe for. I'm definitely no Chuck Basher. You'll never see me doing things like that. You know, I have a little bit more respect for myself. Oh! And naturally, I definitely can't watch this. Although, I've actually seen that before. It's kind of funny there. Dating Advice 2. I like The Sopranos. Sopranos is a good show.
How to wash your ass before linking up. Well, let's go ahead and talk about it. Fellas, I'm going to need y'all to focus on 2 places in particular. Number 1, that's going to be all the places with hair. All the places with hair. Your hair on your head, shampoo the shit if it's been a minute. If you got a lot of dick hair, make sure when you wash that shit, you rinse all the soap out. As far as the hoes go, clean out your ears, clean around your ears. You never know. This bitch could be a nibbler. When it comes to your belly.
What's a nibbler? Let me replay that. What's a nibbler?
Button, that shit stink, bro. A lot of people don't fuck with it, but that shit stink too. And another thing, you might wash your dick, you might wash your balls, but if your asshole stink, that's a conflict of interest. You need a shower spigot, a detachable one, where you can get up in that shit, turn it on the highest pressure, wash and rinse your asshole out. If that shit start to feel too...
Okay, that's a little bit too much information. Folks, just wash your ass. He's giving good advice, but we're gonna just stop it there, you know. What he's talking about is an enema. But, you know. He's a pretty minty guy there, that's for sure.
The best single moms to date. Well, one that work out. You got some bitches out here who done had 5 kids, and it don't look like they had one. And then you got some bitches who had 1 child, and it don't look like that motherfucker was ever born. Bitch look like she in her 19th trimester. Or, get you one that live with her mama. This is a free babysitter. And any bitch who is willing to dump their kid off on their mama to come suck my dick will always hold value.
It's funny how he's referring to women as bitches, and yet he's giving singles advice.
Or, get you one that lost custody of their child. Bitches who share custody still fuck their baby daddies. Plus, a bitch who lost custody won't ever blame you for being a deadbeat dad. Or, get you one who will admit that her kids are baggage. Dinner for 2 is about $40. Dinner for 4 is about $80. You pay twice the money, but you ain't getting double the pussy. Or, get you one who will let you whoop their kids. If their kids know you can't do shit to them, you ain't no real daddy. Get
Oh boy. Folks, it's never a good idea to screw with someone that's still married. Because remember, that husband, you never know what they will do. A lot of people have gotten killed for messing with someone's husband, you know, or messing with someone's ex-wife. Sort of like a certain Buffalo Bills football player that's in the Hall of Fame. That is a prime example of not messing with someone's woman. I don't care what they played on the news or anything like that, but we know what happened. Do I snore? Very rarely. I mean, I've slept with people before, obviously. None of them have ever told me I snore. When someone snores, that's a sign of some sort of breathing problem, actually. And it's good to have one of those little plastic strips to open up your nose. I use it's actually good to use those as well for working out or doing any type of cardio. I'll check the video of that guy, see what that is here. Give me just a minute. Let's go to the Creator Studio. No, it wasn't held, actually. I guess I just not got to it yet. Let's see what we got here. The funniest interview we'll ever see.
Jij had een normaal leven daarvoor.
Little high pitch there, you know. Definitely a soprano.
En toen plots kom je uit narcose en dan merk je dat het leven niet meer hetzelfde zal zijn. Hoe reageer je daar dan op?
I'm definitely not pouring myself another drink. You got to remember, folks, because of my workplace, now that I get up at around 5:30 to 6, you know, I have to really push myself to stay up until midnight on Fridays. But I do it for you guys because I like doing my live streams here, you know. But I really have to push myself to stay awake till 12, especially when I generally go to bed at 10 o'clock. So, yeah.
Eerst met heel veel ongeloof. Ongeloof is echt.
Wife or ex-wife? Ex-husband. That guy, I've not seen your video yet, and it's not being held for review, but I'll check again and see. I think that was pretty much staged, but still very minty, that's for sure. Let's see here. 1 minute. Oh, this is the J Masters one. No, it wasn't flagged at all. So. It's here.
Prove me wrong. I mean, I don't really know. How would I know? I don't know. But certain like targets of the Genovaverse and the trolls and the Misfit Maniacs and the Piss Troopers, like, I'll get DMs like, hey, you should see the comment I just left on Mark Lubliner's page, or...
Hold on just a minute here. Okay.
You should see the comment I just left on Big Rob's page, or you should see the comment I just left on Jason Blaha's page. Like, people DM me when they're trolling people, and not one person has ever DM'd me and said, I just contacted Adam McLeod's work, or I just contacted Adam McLeod's school. So I think he's completely lying, wanting to pretend to be more important than he really is. I actually think that McCuck almost has like a Jason Blaha trigger in his brain. Like when Blaha thought he was a CIA assassin, McCuck thinks he's important like that. Now, McCuck's never said he's a CIA assassin. But McCuck seems to think that he's somewhat relevant. I mean, I don't follow Adam McLeod, but how many people watch his live streams?
You know, what was said by J Masters 3 years ago is pretty much the same today. Who watches McCluck's live streams?
Come on, man. It's like a Hamburg live stream. I remember when I used to follow Hamburg, when I would see Hamburg was live, I was afraid to touch my phone because I might accidentally join fucking Hamburg's live. Like, fuck. Last thing you want to do is join Hamburg's live. Then that loser starts talking to you personally. Fuck. All right, I gotta piss.
Oh boy.
Yeah, Hamburg and McCuck need to go live together. And they might get 20 people. Come on, man. You know, I'm not trying to brag. I got 88 right now. Like, I'm no YouTube celery. I'm just a fat fucking truck driver, alcoholic. But fuck. At least I'm honest. I'm not McCuck. Oh, I think I got it. I heard it pop.
Am I going to go see Doom 2? Or Dune 2? I might actually see it, but I wouldn't go to the movie theaters. I'd probably wait until it gets on streaming. I don't really go into movie theaters anymore. It's just a little too sticky there, you know.
I just popped a whitehead on my... I'm off the EQ, so... Just running trend and test right now. Very low doses of each. Doing like, well, low doses for me. Current cycle is 600 test and 300 trend.
Yes, Pee-wee, he's been dead for about a couple of months here. But like I said, that's a cycle of life, Quick Pump. You know, we're all going to go one day. You know, but Paul Rubens, he had an excellent and long life, you know. It's all you can ask for these days.
Really not shit. And I can still outlift Guy Cisterano. I like Guy Cisterano. He's a good guy. Sometimes when I burp, it sounds like Satan. Father. All right, I can't see the I can't see the comments.
You know, you could just look at the plugs and the orange puke walls. That Jay is in a very cheap motel of some type with probably an enormous amount of roaches.
Jay, how do you keep your hair looking so good? I come on my own face while I'm beating off, and then I rub everything back, and it's like a natural amino acid soaking of my own jizz into my scalp.
Maroon, I'm not a dating expert of any type or so forth. You should just date who you date there. I mean, the rules are not going to apply for everyone. That is disgusting.
And then I lick my fingers, all the cum. I can't see the comments.
We'll have to play that some other time, Serratus. We don't have enough time.
Can't believe how drunk I am. I haven't even had 75 ounces. This is my third one. I'm buzzed as fuck.
I'm having a good one too, Raphael. Hope you're doing well.
It's all right. I think this video accomplished its mission. And that was to expose Adam McLeod as being a fraud, being a complete fake. I mean, we've all just taken everything he said and accepted as truth. And then I thought about it the other day. I'm like, wait a minute. I've never seen any proof that any of these things he said are true. I mean, the guy gets like 9 views.
I'll play the 10K a day quick pump. That'll be a good way to end videos anyway. So.
Views during the live stream. Who has enough interest in him to do the research to call his work or call his kid's school? It started to not add up. That no one cares about McCuck enough to do the things he claims they've done. Does it make sense? I mean, it's a fucking clown. Connor Smith, I think I'm going to block you because you absolutely bring nothing to the discussion. Nate wears wrist straps when he does seated cats. Yeah, true. Look, I understand not everybody can.
I think that's pretty much it there. I mean, he is pretty right. I think this was before that silly old boxing match or so forth, if you can even call it a... Again, it wasn't a boxing match. It was minty at best. So, yeah, well. Let's see here. You know, the funny thing is the 10K a day actually always comes up.
Shout out to the really gotta be a freak.
Gotta be a freak beats. Taste of my freestyle. You know my flavor, I'm the real vanilla ice. 10K a day, 10K a day. You know my flavor, I'm the real Felicia Keys. 10K a day, 10K a day. You know my flavor, I'm the real vanilla ice. 10K a day, 10K a day. You know my flavor, I'm the real Felicia Keys. 10K a day, 10K a day. Fuck everybody, college don't mean shit. You know I'm broke, world star, hip hop don't mean shit. Got shit, nobody stopping me, I'm untouchable. This industry don't mean shit, Eminem don't mean shit. Got shit, world star rap, iced out real. You know you can't touch me, you can't touch, untouch. I'm the real jammer, I'm the real sugar night, I'm the real sugar night, I'm the real sugar baby, I'm the real Rob Bill, you Rob baby. Mustang out the shop, Mustang out the shop. I got all the ice cream, I got the fly in the coast. I got all the ice cream, I got the bikes in the cream. You know my flavor, I'm the real vanilla ice. 10K a day, 10K a day. You know my flavor, I'm the real Felicia Keys. 10K a day, 10K a day. You know my flavor, I'm the real vanilla ice. 10K a day, 10K a day. You know my flavor, I'm the real Felicia Keys. 10K a day, 10K a day. You can't stop me, you can't stop flavor's fucking ice cream, bitch. Fuck disability, fuck ice cream. I'm the man, you can really jam to it. I'm the man, East Coast, West Coast, from Los Angeles. I'm the man, Taylor Swift don't got shit on me. Shit on me, Lil Wayne don't got shit on me. Shit on me, know my flavor, I'm the real.
And folks, remember, if you want to light a real cigar, you got to use this. All right, back to the video.
Vanilla ice, 10K a day, 10K a day. You know my flavor, I'm the real Alicia Keys. 10K a day, 10K a day. I'm the real Vanilla ice, 10K a day, 10K a day. Real trap shit. I'm the real Alicia Keys. 10K a day, 10K a day.
Shout out to you, really gotta be a freak.
Gotta be a freak.
The man is an editing genius.
Oh boy, always funny. Good stuff here. Oh, my cousin's streaming tonight. Let's see what he's doing.
On him to prove.
Yeah,
We'll take a
which is why
peek
I
in.
really want this to go through, because there's just been a lot of artists who have.
Oh, that horrible woman there, Candace Owens. I don't like Candace Owens one bit. Gets on my nerves. Let's see what we got here.
Tony.
Even though it's all fuzzy and everything, it's owned by the WWE, and they would actually end up cutting off my stream if I played this one. So, let's get to the point to where, here we go. We'll just do this here.
Here, enough all the gaga. Let me tell you something. If you want to see a body, if you want to see the real Mr. Universe, if you want to see number one, I'm standing right here. And I came out here to show all my fans, enough of this brown clown here. Here's the real body right here.
Yeah, I remember that one. No, I just played a quick clip because if I tried to play it all the way, it, you know. It was probably a fake, Armoire. It's probably a fake. Beetlejuice is not going to be on Grindr. I mean, after all, it's Grindr. Who's going to want to grind up against Beetlejuice? Think about it. Think about it. Think about this. If I tried to hit you, do you think I would miss? Well, I mean, it's a good song. 10K a day. So let's see what we got here. Let's hear what my cousin's excuses for not fighting.
Holy shit. Yo VG, we still doing the boxing match or now, big dog?
Well, I'm not going to be able to do it anytime soon. My elbow's still pretty fucked up. It's hard for me to even straighten my arm still, so I'd be down to meet up at some point and do that boxing match, but, you know, I just have the elbow problem, so I can't, train for it right now.
Which, again, of course, he's lying, but he collected some good money off of it. Let me show you guys this here. And if Lamar, you're still here, check this out. This is from a person who's claiming that he has elbow issues. This was just about a couple of days ago. I don't know. Seems like his elbow's good for is working good. It's not a lifting contest; it's a boxing contest. That's what I was telling Lamar about. That the whole thing was staged as far as to his claims. That his elbow hurts. It's just BS. That's all it is. It really gets on my nerves when my cousin does. How many people has my cousin challenged anyway? How many? I mean, just how many? Just ridiculous.
Are they calling?
John Bravo just released another video a couple hours ago. I've not watched this one yet, so let's see what he's got to say.
Greg Doucette a liar, saying his story is not accurate?
This will be the final video, folks, so enjoy.
So yesterday, if you saw my video I posted on the Trend Twins, one of the brothers, Chris, he took too much caffeine. He overdosed. He went...
bullshit. Something else is going on other than some caffeine.
To the gym, he collapsed, ended up in the hospital. Usually that's a heart issue. That's what happens when you take too much caffeine, right? And I based my video upon watching their own video and the things they said in the video.
The doc asked if I was on steroids, and my first response, I didn't know what to say.
They asked me too. I said, hell yeah. They already knew though. I came in with the freaking tank top and shit.
This is an anabolic ending. Imagine that. Killed by caffeine.
Doc, does it look like I'm on steroids? Are you asking me if I'm natty?
Doc, you think I'm natty, buddy? Fuck you, man.
Doc.
Bunch of dumb fucking monkeys.
Doc.
Oh, actually, I'm about to throw a look at him.
Alright. This is, Trend Twins.
Full review. Steroids.
Don't forget, folks, if you want to donate to help out for my crappy paycheck I got, make sure you do so. Be sure to hit the like button and also thank all our sponsors, especially Pugman, for supporting the channel.
Pharaoh supplements. Fuck yeah.
Also, I watched Greg.
Pharaoh Supplements would be a good name for a supplement company.
Doucette, the Munchkin, I watched his video, a bunch of different other things in the morning time, and then I made my video on it. But when I made my video, I didn't think that I came from a bad place. I made the video because they're very popular.
He said came. He said came.
In the fitness industry, something tragic happened to them. I wish them the best. I said I liked them. They're entertaining. But I also thought there's lessons that can be learned from others by making that video. But apparently, they're pissed that I made that video. And I was very surprised when they came and they commented in my comment section, pissed off. I'm going to read it to you now. Bro, what? No one knows the backstory of what happened. I was taste testing pre-workout for my brand and overstimmed. This is getting out of hand. I'm literally fine. Okay, so it turns out he taste testing his pre-workout.
Vince, thanks for Livestream.
Maroon Blue with a $5 donation. You're quite welcome there. I do it for the peoples there, And we're going to keep up the mints here. Slowly but surely, I'm going to start adding back shows. They'll be pretty short ones. I'm just still working on it there. But, you know, for now, I got to make sure I get everything down as far as to work is concerned.
Workout, took too much. Caffeine overdose in the hospital. I still don't understand what's the difference between my video and what he's saying here. So why is he pissed off about it, right? And then I was nice. I said, I'm glad you're doing better, my man. I saw the video and saw Greg Doucette's video this morning and carried the story. And please don't take no 700 milligrams again, because it could have been worse. You're lucky, even if you're only taste testing. Then this is where he gets pissed off. He goes, nah, bro, you don't actually care. You're just looking for your next video. You literally base your videos off Greg's. So I'm thinking now two things. One, aren't you, all of us on YouTube, we're always looking for our next video. We're always looking for views. Otherwise, what's the point of doing this? Aren't you looking for your next video always? And then the comment when he said, you literally based your video.
Not me. I do YouTube for poontang, for people to hit the pole
off Greg's.
Had to get that in tonight. Anyway.
Time. And then I made my video on it. But when I made my video, I didn't think that I came from a bad place. I made the video because their pre-workout took too much. Caffeine overdose in the hospital. I still don't understand what's the difference between my video and what he's saying here. So why is he pissed off about it, right? And then I was nice. I said, I'm glad you're doing better, my man. I saw the video and saw Greg Doucette's video this morning and carried the story. And please don't take no 700 milligrams again, because it could have been worse. You're lucky, even if you're only taste testing. Then this is where he gets pissed off. He goes, nah, bro, you don't actually care. You're just looking for your next video. You literally base your videos off Greg's. So I'm thinking now two things. One, aren't you, all of us on YouTube, we're always looking for our next video. We're always looking for views. Otherwise, what's the point of doing this? Aren't you looking for your next video always? And then the comment when he said, you literally based your video off Greg's. And yes, it's true. I watched Greg's video, but it wasn't the place I only got the information from. You can get information from just watching the video of themselves that they posted, right? So then I told him, I said,
exactly. They're the ones that posted that they took too much caffeine. I mean, seriously, what do they got to complain about? What's not true? You said on video that you took so much caffeine. I don't believe the caffeine, but that's exactly what you said.
Listen, I've messaged you before on the DMs on Instagram. Did you respond? No. And I would have sent you another message to get some more details about this, because I'm going to run the story anyway. And most of the time in these situations, people usually respond and give me more information. But this guy didn't want to respond. So I told him, I go, next time, if there's things that are wrong, that are not accurate, respond to me, right? And now his friends come. And that ain't fucking body. What? And not that ain't fucking body. I never seen anyone spell it or say it like that. Cares to know is doing much better. He's out of the hospital and recovering. I'm not saying anything else, so don't. So then I was nice to him. And then he goes, it's all good, man. These guys are my friends. And what they really need is the support of the bodybuilding, powerlifting community, which is I thought I was doing in my video. Instead of everybody playing he said, she said bullshit, he wasn't doing anything malicious. Guy's got real ability, so does Mike, and everyone just needs to relax about it. Then you get, listen to this, then you get the chatty fucking Kathy, i.e. the Canadian.
Chances are, if it was caffeine, which again, quick pump, I would doubt, he was probably dry scooping.
Windbag, who I say is the fucking munchkin, stirring up a storm of shit, which has led us here. So now reading that, and from what the Trend Twins Chris posted earlier, are they calling Greg Doucette a liar, saying his story is not accurate? And then I'm remembering these guys had an issue. They've been fighting with each other since Greg, was coaching them. Something went wrong. I actually did a video on it at the time. And Greg didn't like it. That's why he threatened to sue me. I had to take the video down. Story for another day. So these people don't like each other. So is it that they're mad that Greg lied or is telling a lie in this story? Or they're just mad at him? But I'm thinking something else. Maybe if you guys read the comments, It's negative publicity. And maybe they don't like the negative publicity, so they're mad at all of us for making a story. But my whole thing is, that footage was taken by you guys and posted. So if you don't want any of us making videos, saying they're not accurate when you don't contact us back, right? Saying it's not accurate, calling us liars, is it the fact that we are? Or like I said earlier, you guys are not happy with the negative publicity. But I'm going to say one piece of advice if you guys are wanting to do this, okay? And I saw what you posted on your story too, his message, he's not happy about it. Okay, I'll post it on the screen. If you guys don't want us making videos, inaccurate or not, answer us when we DM you. That's the first thing. And secondly, you got to realize that this is part of the business. When you have a popular channel and you guys do over 1.5 million YouTube subscribers and you're getting a ton of views and you're in this industry, you're going to get people like me and others making videos about it. So like I said...
Or they just created the beef on purpose so they can trick my good buddy John into making another video about the Trend Twins, you know. Maybe they're playing John for a sucker. Who knows, you know? Because he is right, they have over 1 million views. So what better way to get more views than to have other people report on it and continue to report on it?
Originally, you know, I'm glad that you guys are doing better. Be careful what you do. But again, there's a message for people to not overdose. And I felt like the video was important. There's lessons to be learned. And again, answer your DMs if you have a problem with somebody running a store. I've been on TRT for over 10 years, and it's done so much for my life.
Yeah, chances are the Trend Twins just wanted a continuation of this whole thing. And unfortunately, they probably tricked both my buddy John and my not-so-buddy Greg into continuing to make a video. But I'm going to be honest with you folks, I don't believe one goddamn word that they say about overdosing on caffeine. That's just some bullshit. So let's go ahead and get some music playing so we can play ourselves out of the live stream for the midnight run. So folks, we got 10 minutes left. Get your questions in. Please. I don't think he borfed the pre-workout. I think there's a lot more behind it. But I mean, I find their story bullshit. I mean, it's just pure bullshit. It's all bullshit. But that's what we get these days. Pickleballs. Do I do any crypto gambling? No. Absolutely no crypto gambling. It's very risky at this point. I honestly have no idea of that guy. What defines a YouTube vulture? I mean, I think we put out general content, you know. And I mean, we do want it to somewhat be a source of revenue and everything, although it's not really been much for me, and I'll be honest with you. But probably because I've cut back on a number of things I've been doing. But on the other hand, McCuck calls a bunch of people a bunch of different names, so I wouldn't take anything that he says with a grain of salt whatsoever. Not anything. You want to know why? Because he's a goof. That's why. Okay, we got business there. I mean, it is true we got a lot of vultures in the industry, but then again, we got someone like him. It's kind of ridiculous that people like that actually exist, that guy. It really is. Does YouTube pay enough? No. Truth of the matter is, it's been pretty dead for me this month because I've not been doing much streaming.
There's been a run in crypto last couple weeks. I had fear of missing out and then remembered how you're staying away from your crypto experience. Old-fashioned southern hospitality advice, lol.
Maroon Blue with a $2 donation. I mean, it's more than just that as far as my crypto experience is concerned. It's just that there's a lot of scams going on right now. You got Logan Paul's scam. I mean, I'm not sure if you've kept up with CoffeeZilla's content, but there's just a lot of scam artists out there. I mean, they're even trying to bring back Bitcoin mining and stuff. And I mean, look what just recently happened with Dogecoin, you know. For me, really, is that there's a lot more non-crypto related things that I'm investing in. I've gone back to stocks and investments as well as building other businesses in order to bring in income as opposed to cryptocurrency. There's less risk and everything. It's just that the crypto industry is so volatile, you know. It's just unpredictable. Plus, with the increased amount of scams, you know, I'm just avoiding it for now until I find the sure deal. But good question. But as always, thanks again for the donation. Like I said, it's up to someone as far as to whether they wish to get into cryptocurrency or not. But my thing about it is that, you know, if I don't know where the market is going for cryptocurrency or any other type of investment deal, you know, I'm just going to simply walk away from it. I mean, it does play a role that I got ripped off on some cryptocurrency, but it's just more than that. It's just a state of being to where old dogs are pulling out old tricks again. So you just got to be really careful with it. There's always going to be a run on something, and then there's going to be a run off, and then there's going to be a ripped off on top of it. I tell people to stay away from crypto right now because of its volatility. But, you know, as individual adults, you know, we can all make our decisions as far as to what to invest in. I've chosen to invest more into my websites and back into regular stocks. I just watched the Joshua. Oh, man. I'll check out the highlights, KCB. Yes, indeed. It's the end of an era, sort of, you know. Like I said, it's a cycle of life, you know. He left behind an awesome legacy, you know. He still lives on. He lives on through Dragon Ball, and Dragon Ball will continue to go on without him, you know. But he left behind an excellent legacy, you know. I think the series will actually get better, though, you know. I think it will. And it's not because of, you know, and I think it's simply because, you know, Akira already knew that he was going, essentially, Donald Trump. So he put the pieces behind to where, you know, it would continue once he's gone, you know? Plain and simple. So he's left those pieces behind to where it can continue to grow. So don't worry, folks. Dragon Ball will continue, and it will get much better. It really will. Gonna play it out. He left it in a bunch of capable hands. Oh, I love you too. Think about it. Think about Looney Tunes. Mel Brooks has been dead since the 80s, and it continues on. All of these things will continue on. The guy that played Starscream in the Transformers, he's gone. But things continue on. Well, the legacy, Donald Trump, is not the top. The legacy is not the top, the original. It's not a competition or anything. It's just to continue it because that's going to be as much part of the history as the original. So it's not trying to top it. It's not trying to compete with it. It's just a continuation to what made Dragon Ball so great to begin with. Well, Donald, you have to remember that it's a generational thing. So the Looney Tunes that is here today is meant to attract kids of that age. It's not for us anymore, you know. And that's perfectly all right, you know. We still got the old cartoons to look at. But you have to remember that Looney Tunes caters to a more modern audience, you know. There's a lot of things on Looney Tunes when I was growing up that you couldn't get away with today, especially Pepe Le Pew. Well, we're done with the show, Raphael, but thanks again for joining me. But folks, that is the end of the Midnight Run. You know, we had a great show tonight. I want to thank Maroon Blue. I want to thank Gustafa. I want to thank Mr. Krabs for donating. Please be sure to tune in tomorrow for Soul Pole Saturday. So once again, I'm out of here, folks. And as always, peace and soul.